Watch this video to see if I can get this standard light fitting working on the client's Philips Hue smart lighting setup that they've got installed, or whether in fact it's just going to be a complete waste of money and it's going to end up in landfill. Job rack today is basically trying to get this light, obviously it looks a lot nicer outside of the box, working with the customer's sort of Philips Hue system. So there is a couple of things. So with Philips Hue you can get a sort of like a traditional light. There's a little module that can fit within the actual sort of light switch itself to be able to work with a traditional one. But this particular one we've got a few issues. First off, when the client was buying it, it said that it was dimmable. When I actually had a look at it, it's only dimmable via remote control, so that's not going to work with the dimmer module that we thought it could do. Also, when we've looked into it, it actually changes from a cool white to a warm white. So the client's kind of sort of challenged me to see if I can get that working onto the Philips Hue system and working with the colour changing light. So let's unbox the light fitting and have a look what we're going to be installing. So let's have a quick closer look at the actual light that we're going to be installing. So basically it's just made up 3 little rings. These can all be sort of hung at different sort of combinations, so you can sort of get a different effect with the lighting. The lighting itself, it's just got sort of LED tape within it, and within these ones you're able to change from a cool white to a warm white. So that's all done through the actual controller itself within the fitting and via the remote control. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be ripping all the guts out of it. We're going to be replacing it with different drivers, a different controller that we can then integrate into the Philips Hue setup. So let's start dismantling it. We'll take the bracket off that's going to fix it to the ceiling, and then we can have a closer look what's going on inside. So there we go, you can see the driver now. So what the driver does, it takes it from 230 volts AC down to 24 volts DC. From there, it's then connected onto the cables. The cables, different ones, 3 of them take the actual power down to the actual rings themselves, and then the rest of the wires are just there for sort of hanging to the correct height. Also within the driver, it has a controller which communicates with the remote control, and then that allows for the dimming and the colour changing. So now that we've had a quick look in here, what we're going to do is start stripping it down, having a look at what's going on, and then I'm going to be showing you what replacements, drivers and controller we're going to be installing in here just to get it up and running. So we start stripping down the driver. We'll have a quick look at the DC end first. So as you can see there, the cables themselves are all soldered into the actual sort of driver themselves. So there's 3 cables. The red is bringing the plus through, and then the white and the yellow, one is for the cool white, which is the white one, and the yellow is for the warm white. So let's get them cut out, and then we'll have a look at the AC side of it now. So this is the AC side, what you'd expect to find, just a live and a neutral going into it. So again, soldered in, so we'll just cut those out. We'll get the driver ripped out, there we go, nice and easy. So that's it now, I've passed the point of no return. I have nothing in there, I'm just hoping this is going to work. So That's next to useless now. That and the remote control are going in the bin. We'll get rid of them. So now we've got it all stripped out, let's have a look at what we're going to be installing to get this back up and running. Fingers crossed. So these are the two components we're going to be installing within the light, just to allow it to talk to Hue itself. First part is the driver. The driver is very similar to what you use, like transformer for charging your telephone up. This converts 230 volt AC into a 24 volt DC current. Then this is then used to power the LED strips themselves. The controller, this is 5-in-1 controller, so it do numerous different stuff. You could do RGB, RGBW, CCT, which is basically converting sort of warm white, cool white, so you can sort of go between those. So it's a very good bit of kit. This communicates with the hub, the Philips Hue hub, via Zigbee, which is a magical little channel it sends it through, and then that then communicates, and this controls all of the dimming, turning them on and off. Within the driver themselves, there's loads of different drivers on the market. I tend to go for Power LED. Power LED we've used in numerous different jobs with sort of Philips Hue, Rayco, Lutron, lots of different sort of smart lighting control systems. I've never been let down with it. It's a great product. I'm not affiliated in any way with Power LED, although if you are watching, if you want to send me some goodies, I'm not going to say no. This particular driver is what they call a constant voltage driver. So clues in the name, it just provides a constant voltage of 24 volts from here, which then goes into the actual controller itself, and then the controller does the dimming. Again, there's lots of other drivers out there, whether it's sort of Dali dimming, Triac dimming, you've got sort of 10 to 1 volt dimming. Again, I'm not going to go into that in this video. Later on, I'll do other videos just going through all the technologies. So just make sure you hit the button, like and subscribe us just to keep up to date. So let's get the controller and the driver out of the box and have a quick look at them. Then it's going to be judgment time. Are these two units going to actually fit within the fitting? Yeah, lovely. Get the bracket on top. Yeah, so that's going to fit lovely in there. And again, with a controller, it's only a small little thing, so that's just going to fit nicely up on the top. Excellent. So the controller itself is probably the most important bit. That's what's actually going to communicate with the Philips Hue. So this one does 5-in-1, sort of all the RGB. We're going to be using the CCT selection part of it. So it's just going to be the 3 cables. So we're going to have to sort of set that up, program it up. Also, we're going to bring in the live and neutral into the right side, and then sort of from there, the 24 volt is just going to come out of the driver, and then from there, it's just going to go into the little controller on that side, and then from there, that's going to do the dimming and then take it to the actual lights itself. So let's start getting it wired up. If you want to get hold of one of these controllers, I'll put a link in the description below. At the time of recording this, they're about £20 a pop. If you do click on the link, I will make a few pence, and it really will be a few pence at £20 a pop. As they say, every little helps. There'll also be a link to some of the other stuffs that I've gone through on, including sort of the Philips Hue. So there we go, the dreaded instructions. Let's have a quick look what we're going to be doing. So on the back of it, it tells you for the CCT option, you need to set it so the LED light turns to green. So there's a little button you press just there, and then that will glow up green. That then selects the CCT option from it. From there, you can see there's 6 cables. So we're actually only using sort of 3 cables, but this particular driver, as it says on the instructions, can actually run 2 lots of LED strip from it. So you've got your plus, you've got your cool white, and then the warm white. So just on the table, the second line up, you can actually see where it needs to go in. So the red will go into the volt plus, you've then got cool white and warm white. So let's get them in. So there we go, they're all in there nicely. That's going to tuck away to the top, supplied with a nice bit of double-sided sticky tape. So when we're ready to go, we'll just get that stuck down. So let's start stripping down the driver and having a look at it. So this particular one is a 75 watt driver. I've just compared it to the existing one that was in there and then sort of tidied up for it. So there we go, you've got live neutral one side and 24 volt the other side. Also, this particular driver is a class 2 product, so what that means is you don't need to bring an earth into it. So as you see there, there's just live and neutral. So when we're making the cable, it's important to make sure that the actual insulation of the cable clamps down onto the driver. So when you're cutting the cables, offer it up first and then strip it off just to make sure there's no excessive length, and when it does clamp down, that it's going to prevent the cable from being pulled out. So there we go, got them in there nicely. The white insulation of it is just going to get clamped down when we put the top on. There we go. Nice and tight in there, clamped down nicely. So all we need to do is just bring a 2-core cable from there directly into the controller itself, and then that's all wired up. So we get some double-sided sticky tape, make sure that they're going to fit nicely into the actual sort of top of the fitting. There we go, I can't believe how well they've actually sort of fitted in. Also, once the bracket's on, everything's tucked away, it's just going to be sort of solid in there and it's not going to go anywhere. So now that we've got all the new components inside the light fitting itself, we're all stuck down, wired into place. It's just a case of going through, fixing the bracket up onto the ceiling that's going to hold the light, wire it into the actual sort of mains cable, so with live, neutral and earth, and then actually configuring the controller within the Hue system to hopefully get this light up and running. So before carrying out any work, you need to make sure it's safely isolated. So the circuit's been turned off. I've got my tester out and just confirming that it is in fact dead. I'd always advise to get any electrical work carried out by a qualified electrician. So here we go, put the bracket up, we'll get the light in, get it wired up, and then turn the power back on. So once we've gone through the process of setting it up and getting the controller onto the Hue app and finding it this first time, what we can do then is turn the power back off, put the light up properly, and then from there, if we ever need to sort of reset it, we can actually do it via just turning the power off. So if you turn it off once, it will reset it if we never need to sort of re-find it for any particular reason, or if we want to do a complete sort of factory reset on that controller, you turn the unit off 4 times in a row, and then that sort of resets it. So once it's been set up, installed correctly, that should be the last time we ever need to get to it. First thing we need to do is to set the controller up to the CCT option. So either press the button, every time you press it the lights flash, and the indicator LED want it to turn to green. And there we go, it just says that we're on the CCT option. So once that's configured, we need to open the Philips Hue app and get the bulb programmed in. So we open it up. On the home page in the bottom right hand corner, there's a settings button. We press onto settings, and then that brings us into the other menu. From there, we're looking for lights. So we click onto the menu that says lights. And from there, on the top right hand corner, there's a plus button, which adds lights. Once we click onto that, the bottom, we just press the search button and off it goes, searching for the new controller. Once it's actually found the controller, what happens, it'll flash the light just to let you know you've got the right light. We then click on Start Configuration, and then we need to give the new light fitting a name so we can identify it. In this case, we're just going to call it Front Room Light. From there, we need to select an icon just to make it easier to find. In this case, just a round ceiling light will do. And there we go, that's all done. So click onto the Done button, and then the final thing is just to assign that light to a particular room. So we've put it into the living room, press Next, and that's it. Successfully added the light into the Philips Hue app. So let's get the power off and let's get the light back up. Turn the power off again. Now that the light's all fitted up back to the ceiling, put back safely, we've re-energised the circuit, and it's just a case of untangling the cables and then setting the light out how we want it. Now that we've got the light installed, and I'm so pleased that the colour changing feature works a treat on there, we're going to be bringing you a lot more sort of Philips Hue and different smart lighting projects as we sort of go through. Our next one's going to be about sort of the TV Sync by Philips Hue. They've just released that there's a new app for the LG TVs, so we're going to get getting hold of the app. We're going to be installing some compatible Philips Hue changing lights, and we're going to do a whole video on that. So don't forget to like and subscribe, just keep up to date what we're doing.